She was just a hungry girl, or so I thought. It was a cold, rainy evening in the year 2084. The skies were always gray these days. The world had changed after the Great Collapse. Cities were broken. People lived in small hidden areas, trying to survive. Technology was still there, but only for those who knew how to use it. Alex lived alone, far from the city, in an old underground bunker, once used for science experiments. He was not a soldier, not a hero, just a quiet man who liked peace. His only company was an old robot helper and books that still worked on solar power. That evening, while reading near his heater, he heard a knock. It was strange. No one ever came here. He waited. The knock came again, soft, slow. Alex grabbed his old plasma pistol, walked to the metal door, and opened it slightly. There, standing in the rain, was a small girl. She looked about 7 years old, dirty clothes, no shoes, hair wet, face pale. She did not speak. She just looked up at him with big, tired eyes. He looked around. No one was with her. "Are you lost?" he asked. No answer. "Are you hungry?" She nodded slowly. Alex looked at her, so small, so weak, and opened the door fully. "Come in," he said. She walked in slowly, water dripping from her dress. He gave her a towel and a bowl of warm food. She sat silently on the floor and ate like she hadn't eaten in days. Alex watched her carefully. Something was odd. Her hands were too clean for someone who looked like a street child. Her cuts, small ones on her legs, were healing fast. Too fast. In her eyes, in the dim light, they had a faint glow. Blue. Soft but unnatural. Still, she said nothing. "Where are your parents?" he asked. She looked up, and then looked down again. That night, she slept on the couch. Quiet. Still. In the morning, she was gone. The door was closed. Nothing stolen. Just gone. Alex searched the area. No footprints in the wet dirt. No sound. Just silence. He thought maybe it was a dream. Days passed. He tried to forget until the third night. Another knock. Same sound. Same time. He opened the door. The girl was there again. But this time, she was not alone. Standing behind her was a woman, tall, calm, and quiet. Her clothes were strange, silver, smooth, almost glowing. Her eyes, the same as the girl's, bright blue. Cold and deep. Alex stepped back. The girl smiled slightly and said one word. "Hi." It was the first time she spoke. The woman nodded politely. Alex, confused, let them in. They sat by the fire. Silent, like before. The girl ate again. The woman just watched. Alex asked, "Who are you?" The woman looked at the girl. "She trusts you," she said. Her voice was soft but strong. "So I trust you too." Alex looked at them closely. They were human. But something was not normal. "Are you from the city?" he asked. "No," said the woman. "We come from far, very far." The girl looked at Alex. "You were kind," she said softly. "So now we'll protect you." Alex blinked. "Protect me? From what?" Before she could answer, the lights in the bunker flickered. The robot helper beeped in warning. Something was near. Outside, in the darkness, something moved. A strange sound echoed, like metal scratching metal. Alex grabbed his weapon. The woman stood up, placed her hand on the wall, and it glowed under her touch. The bunker door locked itself automatically. Alex stared. "What are you?" he whispered. The girl stood beside him, holding his hand. She looked up and said, "Not what? Who? I'm your friend." A loud thud hit the door. Something was trying to come in. And for the first time in years, Alex felt fear. And something else. He was no longer alone. "They're not from here." The night was heavy with silence as the bunker lights flickered. Again, shadows moved outside without sound, without form. Something was waiting. Something was watching. Alex stood frozen. The girl still held his hand. Her grip was small but firm. Her eyes looked calm, too calm for a child in danger. tall woman stepped forward, her fingers brushed the wall, and a soft blue light followed her touch. The door sealed tighter, metal grinding into place like it knew what was coming. Alex whispered, "What is that outside?" But neither of them answered. Instead, the woman spoke slowly, clearly, her voice smooth like wind through glass. "They found us too early." Alex asked who they are, but again, no reply, just a look exchanged between mother and daughter. The girl spoke finally, voice quiet, "But sure, they smell me. They want me. I'm not like others." Alex didn't understand, but he felt something deep inside. A quiet pull like this was no longer just his life, it was something bigger. The woman moved to the corner of the room. Her hand touched a part of the wall that Alex had never noticed. A small hidden panel opened, revealing a glowing orb floating inside a case of light. She looked at Alex and said, "This place was not built by your people, it was built by those who came before, watchers, observers, travelers." Alex felt cold air around him. This was his home for years, and yet he knew nothing of what it really was. Girl sat on the floor, now drawing something in the dust with her fingers, strange shapes, lines, circles. Alex leaned closer. It looked like a map, not of streets, but of stars. He asked softly, "Where are you really from?" The girl smiled, but didn't look up. Far beyond sky, beyond fear, where machines grow cities and light speaks. Alex stepped back, his mind spinning. He looked at the woman, her eyes now glowing brighter than before. She nodded. "We came to hide," she said. "We came to rest." She looked at the girl, and then at Alex. "But now we must run again." The robot helper beeped again, not in warning, but in fear, its voice glitching as it said, "Unknown life form detected at perimeter. 3 signatures approaching fast." Alex moved to the weapons locker, his old pulse rifle barely charged, but better than nothing. He tossed a small knife to the woman. Without thinking, she caught it easily, her grip perfect, like she had trained all her life. She didn't need it. She raised her hand, and the metal in the ceiling bent slightly as if answering her will. Alex stared. "You're not human," he said finally, voice shaking. "Not fully," she said. "But we were once close. We learned from your kind. We carry parts of you and parts of them, and now they want her back." "Why her?" Alex asked. "Why the girl?" "Because she is the key to what comes next." Suddenly, a loud bang shook. The bunker dust fell from the ceiling, the lights flickered, and the robot shut down completely. Silence came again, sharp and sudden. Girl stood up, her eyes now glowing fully blue, brighter than any light Alex had seen. She looked at him and said, "Protect me. I protect you." The wall behind them cracked. A deep metallic sound followed, and through the opening came a shape, tall, thin, no face, no skin, just steel and soundless motion. Alex raised his gun, but the woman raised her hand first, and the air around them shimmered like heat over fire. Creature paused, as if sensing something ancient, something powerful, and for the first time it stepped back. Alex looked at them both, the girl and her mother, and knew his world had changed forever. They weren't just visitors, they weren't just lost, they were survivors, and whatever was coming next, they were already ready. "But was he?" "She calls me protector." The silence after the storm was not peace, it was waiting, it was breath held tight between heartbeats. Alex stood in the center of the bunker, hands shaking, mind full. The strange, faceless machine had pulled back, but only for now. The girl stood next to him, not afraid, not even tired, her eyes still glowing like quiet fire. Her hand reached for his again, and this time he didn't pull away. She looked up at him, calm voice gentle. "You saved me when I was hungry, so I choose you. I protect you now." Alex could not speak. He had no words for what she was, for what she had become. The tall woman moved across the room, her fingers tracing the air symbols glowing behind her, invisible to Alex, but alive to her, ancient signs that shimmered and faded like memory. Girl turned to him, her voice clear. "I am not weapon, I am not tool, I am child, but I carry inside something old, something sleeping. It wakes when danger comes." Alex sat down slowly, trying to hold on to reason, trying to understand. He had lived a simple life here: food, water, solar lights, repairs, routine. This was not routine. This was fate knocking at the door. He asked her, "What is coming? Why do they want you?" She drew again in dust, a star and a spiral and a crack down the middle. "They come from the place between," she said. "Not planet, not space, just dark, the kind that eats Memory, her mother, spoke for the first time in hours' voice, lo, the harvesters seek what she holds. They think she is power, but they do not see her soul. They see only energy. Alex leaned forward. What does she hold? Woman looked at the girl, and then at him. She holds a code older than Earth itself, not written in words, written in light and blood and echo. She was not born. She was awakened by the last beacon of the first ones, and she chose to look like a child because hope often does. The walls pulsed once like something was breathing beneath them. The girl closed her eyes, and the lights turned steady again, soft blue filling the room. Alex whispered, "Why me? Why bring her to me?" "Because you fed her," the woman said, "not just with food, with trust. And trust is rare here now, rare and powerful." The girl looked at him again, this time with something deeper in her eyes. Not light, not mystery, something human, something warm. She called him protector, and in that moment, Alex felt something change inside his chest. Not fear, not confusion, something stronger, a reason. Outside, the ground shook, not an earthquake, but a movement like a giant eye turning in the soil. Something watching, waiting. Alex stood, his old weapon in hand, but he did not feel alone. The girl took his other hand and spoke one word together, and the light in the room rose like a shield, not hot, not hard, but full of will, full of choice. They would not run, they would not hide, they would stand. Because the girl who once came hungry now came with purpose, and Alex, the quiet man who once gave food, was now chosen to guard something far more powerful than he could ever understand. First attack, the air turned sharp like ice without wind. Something had arrived, not with sound, but with weight, the kind of presence that bends time and memory. The bunker lights dimmed again, not from damage, but fear itself. Alex stood between the girl and the sealed door, weapon in hand, heart beating in ways he had not felt in years, not since the cities fell, not since the war that ended everything. The girl held his arm steady, not like a child hiding, but like a fighter ready. Her eyes brighter than ever, voice calm and strange. They are near. They come not to ask, not to speak, only to take. The woman stood still near the wall, her hand on the strange orb that had appeared earlier. The orb now pulsing like it was alive, like it remembered the last time this happened. Outside, the noise began, soft clicks like bones tapping steel, growing louder, faster, not random, not wild, but like a signal, a language without mercy. Alex whispered, "What are they?" But the girl answered only with silence and a look toward the door. Her message clear, prepare. Then came the first hit, not like a bomb, not like a gun, more like pressure, a slam of gravity against the wall. Everything shook, tools fell, lights blinked. The robot in the corner buzzed once and went dark for good. The wall cracked just a little, not from force, but from design. It was not made to stop them, not forever. The woman turned her palm upward and light gathered into it, shaped like a blade, but not sharp, not solid, a blade of sound and memory. She looked at Alex and said, "They do not feel pain, but they fear resistance. Hold the line until the gate resets." The girl moved behind a console, placing her hand against it. The machine glowed and screens came alive, showing outside. Three shapes, tall, faceless, moving, without walking, sliding across the earth, like shadow wrapped in steel. Alex aimed, his weapon hand steady. Despite the storm inside him, he had nothing left to lose, and now maybe something to protect. First creature entered, not through the door, but through the wall. Its body melted through the metal like it was made of fire, but it made no heat, only silence. Its arms too long, its head turning without sound, its body smooth like glass, like nothing alive. The woman moved fast, like blades slicing into its chest. It did not bleed, it screamed, but not in sound. The walls shook with the scream, like the bunker itself felt pain. Alex fired the pulse rifle, hit the second one. As it came in, blue sparks burst from its chest. It paused, turned toward him, and moved faster than anything he had seen. Before the girl shouted his name, voice louder than a storm, Alex ducked, rolled. The second blast hit the ceiling, and the room filled with smoke and dust. Woman fought with motion, not just strength. Every step a memory, every move a signal. She was not just defending, she was dancing through history. The girl stood still, her hands glowing now, not just blue but gold. The walls responded to her. The lights changed, the floor hummed with ancient power. Alex crawled to her side, bleeding from the shoulder. But alive, he asked, what now? How do we stop them? She placed a hand on his chest, not to heal, but to share. And in that second, he saw her mind, not in words, but in light, a flash of stars. A great machine, a broken promise, a war lost long before Earth was born. She whispered, this is not your fight, but your heart chose it, and now I choose you together. They stood together, they moved, and the bunker shifted. The lights formed line symbols. The creatures paused, sensing something ancient, something not afraid. The orb rose from the wall and exploded in light, not fire but memory. The creatures screamed, not from pain but from truth. They saw her, they saw the girl, and knew she was not prey. She was judgment, and they fled. What remained was silence and smoke. The bunker broken, but alive, the walls burned. But standing, Alex fell to his knees, not from weakness, but from awe. The girl sat beside him, her voice soft and human again. Thank you, protector. The woman sat across from them, eyes dim but calm. This is only the beginning. They will come again stronger. But now they know she is not alone, and neither are you. Secrets in her blood. Morning came without sun, only gray light filtering through cracked steel. The battle was over for now, but the air inside the bunker felt heavy, like something unseen had been left behind, something old, something waiting. Alex sat on the cold floor, arm wrapped in cloth, dried blood on his shirt, but he did not feel pain. He felt something else, something pulling at his thoughts, something quiet and strange. The girl stood near the broken console, one hand glowing faintly blue, the other pressed to her chest. Her eyes closed, her breath deep, not tired, not afraid, only focused. The woman watched her in silence, not like a parent, but like a guardian with history written in her bones. Her hair moved slightly, though there was no wind. Her presence was not human, not fully. Alex whispered, she's just a child. Why are they after her? The woman did not answer at first. She stepped closer to the girl, then spoke as if reading from memory. Not everyone is born. Some are created by the choices of many, by pain, by hope, by broken systems, and forgotten stars. Alex stared at the girl. Her skin seemed to shimmer, now barely visible. Veins glowing with gold and blue, like rivers beneath the surface. Not blood, not fully, something more. He asked again, what is she really? The woman looked at him this time, not with mystery, but with truth. She's a carrier of the last star code, a living key written in ancient light, mixed with human breath. She was not meant to exist, and yet here she is. Alex tried to understand, but it felt like standing on the edge of a deep ocean with no end. The girl was more than a hybrid. She was a message. He walked to her slowly, gently, and asked, does it hurt? She opened her eyes and smiled a little. Only when I try to hide it. She showed him her hand, and he saw beneath the skin the movement of energy, like machines, like maps, like stars circling in her blood. She touched the wall again, and a hidden panel opened, revealing an old recording, a hologram. Faded but clear enough, a voice began speaking, not English, not any Earth language, but the bunker translated it slowly. It spoke of a last defense, a child born from the echo of war and science and time. It spoke of the harvesters, how they once served the first ones, and then turned hungry, taking instead of protecting. Alex watched as the hologram showed planets falling, cities vanishing, oceans burning. The girl's kind running, hiding, hoping for a place to breathe again. Recording ended with one line repeated in light and tone, protect the vessel, she carries the seed. Protect the vessel. Alex turned to the girl, protect you. She nodded. Outside, the winds began to rise again. No storm, only signs that others were moving, others were watching. Woman said they will not stop, not until they drain her, not until the last code dies inside her. But if she survives, if she awakens fully, she will end the harvester cycle forever. Alex stepped back, breathing slow. The girl took his hand again, and for a moment he saw flashes, not just of battle, but of peace. A garden growing from metal, a sky filled with color, a world healed. He knew now this was no accident. That first knock, that hungry girl, that quiet smile, it was fate wrapped in flesh and stardust. She looked up at him and whispered softly, I'm afraid, but not when I'm with you. Alex closed his eyes and whispered back, me too, but we keep Going together, they stood in the bunker beneath old stars carrying secrets that could break or save the future, and above them in the sky something moved, watching, waiting. Now we protect others. The ground was still warm from the fire that had passed, not fire from the sky, not fire from fuel, but fire born of light and blood and choice. The kind of fire that only appears when something ancient is finally ending. The bunker no longer felt like a hiding place. It felt like the center of something new. Its broken walls standing not as ruins, but as memory, as proof that they had faced the dark and lived. Alex stood in the silence, wind brushing across his face, the sun rising. For the first time in days, its orange glow soft against the gray. His arm burned, but it did not bleed anymore. The pain had been traded for something stronger. Beside him, the girl watched the sky, not afraid, not confused, just calm, as if she understood. Something bigger than words, something that reached beyond the stars. She said, "They won't come again, not like before. They lost her once. They won't risk it again." Alex asked, "Are they gone forever?" She shook her head slowly. "Not forever, just far, but far is enough for now." He looked at her hands, no longer glowing, now quiet like any child's, but he knew the light was still there, only resting, only waiting. The Kufa woman was gone. The last battle had taken her, not in death, but in purpose. Her body turned to dust, her voice left behind in the wind. She had become part of the code, part of the defense, part of the stars. Girl had cried, but only once, not because she was weak, but because she had known that kind of goodbye before. Now they were two, only two, in the remains of something huge, something that had almost broken the world. Alex asked, "What now? What do we do?" She smiled softly. "We help others." He frowned, confused. "Others?" She pointed across the valley, to the mountains, to the dust trails moving slowly, to the shapes in the distance. People, broken, tired, running like she once had, running from silence and hunger and fear. She said, "We make this place safe. We share the light. We build not walls, not weapons, but a way forward." Alex felt something shift in him, like armor falling off, like stone becoming breath. He nodded slowly, quietly, fully. Together they worked, not as soldier and alien, not as protector and chosen, but as family, as two who had faced the storm and lived and decided to do more than survive. They rebuilt the bunker, made it warm again, made it wide, made it welcoming. People came slowly, some scared, some sick, some with stories that sounded like nightmares, but all of them saw the girl and stayed, because when she looked at them, they saw hope, and when she touched the ground, things grew, even from broken soil. Alex watched her each day, each hour, sometimes still unsure if she was child or code or dream, but always sure of one thing: she had changed him forever. And at night, when the stars were clear and the lights dimmed and the world held its breath, they sat together in silence, not because there was nothing to say, but because some peace speaks louder than words. She once came starving and silent, but now she was light, walking, and he who once fed her now walked beside her, not as savior, not as shield, but as something stronger. They did not wait for the sky to fall again. They became the sky.